Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everybody's doing well. Well, here I am upstairs in the witchy room, my devotion room. It is dreary, kind of misty out there. We've had a couple of little rain sprinkles here and there, and I just didn't feel like getting caught up out in the witch cottage, hauling all my stuff out there, and you know the story. So here I am, and it's a change of scenery, so I don't mind. I wanted to talk to you today about this question that comes up fairly often. It comes up at the shop fairly often, and sometimes when I meet people outside of my store, it does come up. And it's asked or presented in different ways, but it's something to the effect of when did you know you were a witch? How did you know you were a witch? When did you start practicing witchcraft? Those questions. So the easy answer would be, I don't know. That would be my easy answer. I don't know if there's a timestamp on that, but I can tell you that I was very young, probably 10, 11, 12, when I knew and I recognized that I was very, very different from my friends. Now, if you've watched my videos before, I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it in case you're new. And hello, if you're new, hit subscribe. um, my mother raised me. I'm an only child. My father was not in the picture. I didn't even know what a dad was, really, what a father was. Like, what is the role of a father? I really didn't know. I never saw my father until I was in my late teens. So my mom raised me, and an only child. I was also what was called, I don't know if it's still called that today, I was called a latchkey kid. And what that means, for those of you that don't know, is my mom worked two jobs. And of course, during her day job, I was in school. And when I came home from school, there were, just a couple of hours before she would come home, but there were certain rules. Had to stay in the area where I lived. We lived in a little apartment duplex thingy. Had to stay there. I couldn't leave. And I know the neighbors that lived there, they had their eye out on me as well. But she was also a server at night, and not every night, but she probably worked 3 or 4 nights a week. So when she would come home from her day job, she would feed me, make sure I had food, make sure I was set up, and then she had to go to her night job. And so from that age of about, 10, 11, 12-ish, maybe even younger, I'm not quite sure, but I was home alone. And the rules were set not to go outside, not the door was locked, and you don't unlock that door for anyone. And my mother ruled with this and a behind. And I'm still here, folks. I'm got spanked on the behind, and I'm still here. I don't think that that is abuse by any means. So anyway, so that's what I was. So being an only child and being home alone a lot, I had to find things to do. I knew at that age that I was very different. I knew that I wasn't like my other friends. I enjoyed doing things that they weren't about. The girls wanted to play dolls. I wasn't into dolls. I was into nature even then. We had, from Southern California, and there's no woods. Okay, there's no forest in Southern California. But we did have at the time some meadows and some fields. There might have been a pond or two here and there. And I spent my time out in the fields, looking for whatever flowers, weeds, unusual things, rocks. I would save mice and birds that my cat would drag home. I was just very much a nature outdoor person, kid. Loved being outdoors. Barefoot, you couldn't get a pair of shoes on me. Did not like shoes. And my girlfriends, they were girly girls. They wore their shoes. They wanted to be pretty girls. They played with dolls. They did girly things. And not that nature isn't a girly thing, but that was not their thing. And it was very much my thing. So it didn't bother me that to be home and alone and find things to do that was of a nature, I don't know, thing. Religion was not a thing in my house. I was never forced to go to church. My mother did not go to church. My mother was raised Catholic. She had to go to Catholic school, did the catechism, did her first communion. She dropped out in the 9th grade. She hated the Catholic Church. She hated what it represented. I only know that from asking her when I was probably in my 20s. It just was never brought up. Religion was never brought up. God, all of that was just never brought up when I was growing up. And my mother ruled, right? She did. She ruled. I didn't get beat. My mother could give me the look and I'd start crying. She didn't have to spank me. She could give me the look and I would start crying. I learned a lot of respect from my mother, and I respected my mother a lot as a child. And I will say that the one thing that I admire most about my mother was her strength, her independence. You know, she worked 2 jobs to support me or to support us. We had nothing. We didn't have money. I was not privileged at all. I had a roof over my head. If that's a privilege, okay, then I was privileged. I had food in my belly, but it was I didn't have things, but I did have the outdoors, and there were things outdoors. And those were the things that kept me sane and kept me busy, was looking for things. So when I was and so I got allowance, clean your room, make your bed, things that kids do, I guess. Take out the trash, those kind of things. And so I had a little allowance. When I was 13 is when I got my first tarot deck. And it's the Rider-Waite deck, and I still have it today. Yes, I do. It is at the shop. I do have it. And where I bought it, I don't have a clue. I couldn't tell you where I bought it. We didn't have metaphysical stores. We didn't have witchy stores. We didn't have new age stores. And our town was very small. I really, honestly, I cannot tell you where I got that tarot deck. But I got it and I paid for it myself. And my mom, I, I didn't have to ask. I didn't have to ask permission. Um, she never said, "Oh, you're not playing with that. That's the devil's stuff," or "That's evil," or nothing. It was your money. And so I admire the fact that my mother gave me enough free will to expand and grow on things that was of interest to me without harming myself. So I'm going to say, if I have to give an answer, at 13 was when I first jumped into the world of occult, if you want to call tarot occult. because that is when I got my first deck. Now, at 13, I couldn't read it. You know, I mean, at 13, I opened it up and I don't even know where I learned about tarot or where I heard about tarot. Honestly, I don't know. But I just know that, the cards, I had no idea what that was and how to read them. I didn't know. I didn't know. And so the cards went back into the box and away they went. And it was sort of that way through my whole teen years, in and out of this feeling of I'm different. I'm different. I see the world differently. I see things differently than my friends. Of course, peer pressure, having friends and boyfriends and girlfriends, whatever, you tend to go with the mainstream. You tend to go with that flow. And I did. I was in and out of magical things. Um, but I did things that I didn't really know. I'm going to do a spell. you know, oh, she was talking about me. I'm going to do a spell. And you don't even know what you're doing. Like, you don't even know what you're doing. The first book that I ever bought was by Sybil Leek, and was it Diary of a Witch, I think, or something to that. Sybil Leek's Occult and I don't remember the name of the book. I have that also. I have that downstairs. I didn't realize I was going to bring it up, or I bring the subject up, or I would have brought it up. Um, yeah. So, oh, memories. Yeah, bringing back memories. So I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I was practicing witchcraft. Where did I hear the word witchcraft? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Um, there wasn't any even little girl covens. We didn't have that. Like when you see The Craft, or Buffy the Vampire, whatever movies there are out there. That wasn't happening when I was growing up. So where those things came from, you know, within. I mean, it had to have come from within. Now, I've had, as an adult now in my practice, like right now in my practice, I have some, and I think I've mentioned this on my videos before too. When I do my daily devotions, I do devotions daily. Sometimes at my altar, sometimes not at my altar. Sometimes I'm late. I'm a procrastinator and I'm late getting to work and I don't have time and it's my fault, and I don't have time to come upstairs and light the candle and go through all of my devotional process. But I do have time in here, in here. And I do that in here. And when I am able, um, the devotion, the next devotion is more so, if that makes sense. So there are a lot of times that after devotion, I sit there we have tea. I have tea with my deity, and I just talk as like I'm talking to you right now. Maybe there's nobody even watching this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out loud, talking to myself, talking to spirits, talking to the universe. I have no idea. But I sit and I have tea with deity, and I just talk. I talk about things that are on my mind. I talk about funny things. I talk about things. Well, one of the things that comes up, I'm not going to say it comes up frequently, but it comes up often enough that I know that it comes up. And that is, I talk about having regrets. My regret is that as a young kid, as a young child, when I knew I was different, my regret is n- not having that mentor, not putting enough emphasis on the fact that I'm different. Um, being different doesn't mean I'm weird. Being different doesn't mean I'm a psychopath. I'm different in a way that is, I can tell you this now, that was spiritual. Only then I didn't know that. And so I regret not knowing that. I regret not having that mentor to help guide me, because I think, wow, where I could be now would be phenomenal. Uh, I am so in love with life, with my life. I am so in love with my spiritual practice. I'm extremely passionate about it. Everyone knows, if you've watched my video again, if you watch any of the videos, this is my, this is who I am. So I try to shy away from the word witch. I mean, you know, because there's a lot of, what is a witch? I mean, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, what is a witch? I mean, I don't know. I guess a witch is somebody who practices witchcraft. But witchcraft is many things. It's many things. As I'm learning, it's many, many things. And it involves many, many things. And witchcraft is deep. It's deep. It's not, oh, let me light this candle and all will be well. Or let me light this incense and, sage out smoke out the evil energy. I mean, not to me, that isn't what it is. That isn't what it is. Witchcraft is not doing spells every day. Um, it is it's a, it's a life path. It's my life. Witchcraft is about me when I take my walkabouts, when I go out and I walk our land, and I stop and I look at the trees and I listen to what's happening in the woods. Listening to the birds, listening to the crickets, the frogs, the cicadas. When I'm looking down and a feather. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I found. Anyway, um, so that's witchcraft right there. What I just did, oh, you're not going to believe what I found. That's witchcraft. That's what it is. Um, I found a skeleton of a crow without the head. Sadly, without the skull. I think whatever got the crow probably took the skull and took it away to eat the inside and lots of nutrients and everything. So, but it would have been nice to have the whole skeleton. But I have the body. I've got the wing bones and the leg bones and the feet. This is witchcraft. This is my idea of witchcraft. When I saw that, I was like on my knees, first in sorrow. Look, I understand the circle of life. I get it. I get it. And guess what? We are the circle of life. You follow the wheel of the year, that's the circle of life. It's life, death, and rebirth. I get it. But when I see it, it's like, oh my God. Oh, I mean, I was just like, I was just heartbroken. The poor crow, the poor crow. And it had been there for a while. The feathers were still attached, but I left the feathers in the woods. But after the initial sadness and so sorry and praying over it, um, there was the witchcraft. There was the thank you for this gift that I will make sacred. This is a sacred gift. I don't need to make it sacred. It is a sacred gift, and it will be treated as such, a sacred gift. I mean, that right there, that's witchcraft. That is witchcraft to me. Yes, witchcraft is making a spell, making a little, pouch for protection or love or whatever. It's all those things. It is. And I do those things, so I'm not taking away from those things. But I'm just saying, witchcraft is deeper than that. It is deeper than that. I told you my experience of when I skydived, what I experienced. Go back and watch my video on that. That experience, what happened, that feeling, that is witchcraft. Connection. Connection. That's what it is. So, in answer to the question again, I don't know when I became a witch. I don't know. I can sit here and tell you that I have done several, I have done several initiations. I have done self-initiation a couple of times. I have done initiation and dedication to my deity. I have done dedication and initiation to and ritual to the elements. Watch the video. I have done dedication and initiation into coven. I have done dedication and initiation into my own coven. So, it doesn't make me a witch. That word, initiation, that doesn't make me a witch. What makes me a witch is the connection. What I do, what I feel, what I see, what I hear, my senses. I get passionate. Calm down. Woo. I'm looking at my tourmaline. It's over there. I should have grabbed that. So there's no timestamp on when did I become a witch. I don't know. Maybe I was, maybe I always was, but I didn't know it. So, if I didn't know it, was I? Don't know. Um, did initiation make me a witch? No, it didn't make me a witch. It did not make me a witch. Uh, Being a witch comes from inside, I think. At least for me, that's how I feel. It comes from within. It comes from within. Um, I have a most uh, gratifying, intense relationship with my path, my spiritual path. That sometimes it is completely overwhelming. And when I talked about the regrets, I have literally had spirit or deity, maybe it's ancestors, tell me what we've all heard before. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so I guess when that time happened, which was 30 plus years ago, maybe that's when. Maybe that's when I became a witch, or when I knew that the specialness and the difference of me being different, me feeling differently, me knowing that I was different, and that time, that special time that happened that 30 some years ago, is when maybe a label got put on it, which I don't know. So that's how I know. That's how I know. I don't know because I'm great at spells. I don't know because I teach witchcraft classes. Um, I don't know because I'm drawn to. I don't know because I read tarot. I don't know because I do divination of other sorts. I don't know because I help clients with their things. You know, I know how to do those things because I've learned. I've learned. I've practiced. I've experienced. Um, I've had several mentors, but for me, being a witch, hmm, I, you know, maybe I am. Don't know. Uh, I do the things that's called witchcraft, and but my passion and my relationship with deity, with my gods, and my path and my spirit, I think, is what makes me a witch. So, hope that answered your question. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, and or I should say until we meet again. Hopefully next week. Bye, guys. Have a great week. Love ya.